Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm actually excited to be coming back at you with another video on one of my favorite topic that I want to talk about today for you. So after watching these videos, feel free to like it, follow it, share it, follow on my social media page, comment below what you think about this video. And I promise that after watching these videos, you're going to be so surprised about the misinformations, the misconceptions, the false information out there that people are actually giving out to you. Okay? So, what I'm going to be talking about is college, right? Or, in terms of college, let's talk about, because I don't like using that word, so let's talk about getting an education, a decent education in your life. Okay? So, you hear all the time all these stories where you grew up as a little kid, you're inspired to be someone, your parents force you to go to school, elementary, middle school, high school, graduating high school, 4 years in there, and then to go off to college, get a good scholarships, right? And then after college, get a good job or career or whatever you want to be, right? Or whatever you want to do, if you want to put it that way. And the misconceptions of going to school, right? You hear people say all the time, is it worth it? Or sometimes when you're halfway through your degree and something came up, maybe like a financial hardship, or maybe it could be anything. Maybe like a financial crisis or something that just kind of make you feel like you don't want to go to school anymore. And honestly, things like that can happen, and it's part of human nature. We can't control anything outside of a comfort zone. And sometimes you just got to take a step back and say, you know what, I'm dropping out of college. I'm dropping out of getting an education. And sometimes people, right? It could be people that are in school, are not in school, planning to go back to school, and they ask themselves these questions every day about, is it worth getting an education? Is it worth going to college? Is it worth getting a degree? Would I get a good job? Would I get a good career, right? And if you go on Google right now and you search on Google, there's so many blogs, so many websites talking about, oh, it's not worth going to college. Or you hear people say all the time, you talk to like maybe people who drop out of college and they're successful and they're like multi-millionaire people, and they're like, yeah, it costs too much money. It's not worth it, right? Okay, I think you know where I'm getting at you in this video. So you're thinking like, why would I spend thousands of dollars going to college when I can hire someone who can teach me all the blueprints to succeed in life in whatever I do. But here's the question though, you gotta think about this, okay? You might compare somebody who dropped out of high school. It could be anybody out there. You heard all the stories, all the billionaire people, that they never went to school and they're successful, right? But think about this. Here's the difference between a person who dropped out of college and the person who went to college, right? The person who went to college, let's talk about the pros and cons, of course. Okay? Is it worth it and is it not worth it? Well, the pros. Why it's worth it? You know the basics. You learn the basics. Basic math, basic writings, basic readings, basic history, so on forth, etc. The cons. It costs so much money. Like myself, I went to college for 7 years. It's crazy. I'm in debt, huge debt, lots of money. But here's the difference though. You're thinking $100,000 in debt, like a person who is in a doctor field, getting their doctor degrees. They're in so much debt. It's true, right? But here's the thing. The question is that you don't want to take that route. And that's fine if you don't want to. It's fine. But here's the other questions. How are you going to succeed in life when you don't even know the basics? That's number one. Number two. Number one, you don't know the basics. Number two, you don't have the money. You want to hire someone, right? But you don't have the money. You're broke. You can't, if you don't know this, what I'm going to tell you, you want to know how expensive it is to hire someone just to teach you how to be successful? Thousands. And I'm not talking about per day, I'm talking about per hour. Hundreds of dollars per hour. Professionals, consultants. You hired someone who teach you everything about business, about maybe you want to be a gamer, a YouTuber, a streamer. They'll charge you hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars per hour, per session, even so. And you think about it, the pros and cons in that, right? The pros, you skip the whole education system. You don't need to learn basic stuff. You go right into it. But the question, if you have the money, then it's good, right? But here's the thing, pros and cons about getting educations. From my experience, personal experience, I believe it's worth it. You might be in debt. That's the cons, of course. It costs $1,000 to go to school. But at the same time, you get the basic informations. And with the basic informations, it'll help you build up a portfolio of yourself that you stand out from the competitions. Getting a mentor is good too along the way, okay? When you have the money. That's the thing. When you have the money, right? So if you don't have the money, it's going to be rough. I hear all the time from friends, families, random people I serve every day. And, I see all these posts. They're saying, like, is it worth going to college? I'm afraid that when I get my degree, I'm not going to get a job. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes. That could be true to a certain point. But then, getting an education can only get you so far. Here's the truth about education, about our education system. There's a lot of flaws in it. It teaches you everything. Basic stuff. Reading, writing, math, numbers, what happened in the past to the current to the future. It talks about how you to set goals and stuff. It helps you build a professional network with professors, with peers, anybody that you might come across while going to college. And it gives you all these basic tools, right? It's a tool, right? Basic tools. But the question is that, on the other side of that, what do you do with those tools? How do you implement them in a way that would make you go beyond from just knowing the tools, the knowledge, and the skills and the experience, right? Now that's the confusion part where people tend to fail in life. They become negative because after graduating, after from out of a college, right? They think that, oh yes, I'm the best now. I can get the best out of it now. I stand out more than a person who's not educated. And honestly, that's not true. That's not true. I can tell you that. Because sometimes a person who's not educated, they have skills, they have experience, right? That the educated person doesn't have, that still needs to accomplish. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. But then what the uneducated person's missing is basic knowledge. So you get to choose. You can't have both. You get to choose. Do you want to be the uneducated person who never went to school but then have all the skills they want, but then they still lack in a lot of areas? There's still a lot of flaws behind their background that they don't know what this is. They don't even know how to use a computer. They don't even know how to set up a video on YouTube, like the basic stuff, I get it. In life, people want shortcuts. But I can promise you that growing up, going to school, working full time, doing a lot of side hustling on the side, it took a lot of time. It took a lot of time, a lot of focus, a lot of sacrifices, a lot of basic stuff that you need to know before you can become that person. So this video, if you're watching it now, whether you're a student, a worker, a retiree, maybe you're just a parent, or even a kid, right? A kid who inspires to become a YouTuber, a streamer, a gamer. And, I hear this all the time. We're like, hey, if I want to become a YouTuber, I don't need school. Honestly, I can't disagree or agree on this concept. It could be true, it could be false, depending on how you look at it. Different from different angle. From an educated background, I felt like when I went to school, I was more self-aware of what I was getting into. I was taught things that I've never learned. Although I've never done the work, but I got taught things I never learned, right? And what I've learned, I applied it, and I focus on developing that craft, focus on building that skill, that experience, that talent with what I know, the basic knowledge that I know, and I become better at it as I grow. Compared to somebody maybe who never went to school and just became a full time whatever field of work they're in right now, and they could become really good or really bad at it. But then sometimes when you become so good, you can only become so good at something that you're gonna hit a plateau. You're gonna hit a wall, a ceiling that's gonna block you and say, you know what, I can't go beyond that wall. And sometimes that wall are the basic knowledge that you need, if that makes sense to you right now. So just take a step back, okay? Now let's go back to that question. Is it worth getting an education? Or is it not worth getting an education? Honestly, we live in a world of unlimited opportunities. You can do anything with your life, whether you're educated or uneducated. But the question is that, like, if you look at yourself right now, if you're a person who has no mentor, no money, nothing else left, right? You don't even know the basic things of what you want to do in your life, right? Then you're gonna need an education. That's the truth, because learning never stops. When you learn stuff, you get better at it. You train hard at it. And if you're already educated, right? That's even better because you're already one step ahead of the competition, right? You already know the basic. You can skip to the action process. So I'm gonna wrap it up with this video, of course. Okay, if you think about going to school and you're not sure, right? Or you think about dropping out of school or not going to school and you're not sure, you're confused. Just think about what I told you, what I tell you. Think about your financial situations. Think about the sacrifices, the time, the work that you got to put into. If you know what you want to be and you have the resources, keywords resources, then maybe you don't need to get an education because you already know what you want to do. You know, you're already inspired to be that person. You don't need that whole basic stuff because you already have everything in place. You just got to put it to use and learn from it. But let's just say if you're lost, you don't know who you want to be, you're not inspired, you're lazy, you're maybe just lost in life, confused of what you want to accomplish in life, then I would recommend going to school. You go to school, discover your interest. When I went to school, I promise you that when I went to school, I was a lost boy, lost kid. And I thought I knew everything. I thought I wanted to do everything I wanted. But there's so many things along the way. When I was in that journey, I felt like I knew what I was gonna do. But then later on, I got confused and I got lost. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in so much debt now, and I don't know what I want to do. But as you keep going, you eventually discover things that will interest you, and you build upon that. You build upon that, and you go beyond that. And going to school is a big investment. I get it. People are afraid of being in debt. But it's as much as paying a mentor. That's that's the funny part. That people don't actually understand that it's as much as paying a mentor, it's as much as, paying $100,000 per hour per session with a mentor teaches you pretty much everything. Very similar to college, but it's just more practical. Okay? So, thanks so much for watching, you guys. I know that the holiday is right around the corner, and I wanted to make this video sooner, but then I made it later because it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's are coming, and, I wanted these videos to just move you in some kind of way to help you reinforces your mindset, open up a little bit bigger, so that you know that, okay, is it worth going to college? Is it not worth going to college? What should I be doing with my life right now? What do I see myself from 5 years from now? What I need to do to be successful. And this video is for that purpose, especially for students who are in need of help, or working adults that they're hungry for more, but then they don't know what to do with their life as in right now because of maybe a financial crisis or financial situations or an event that happened. And, things that we can't control, it's part of human nature. We got to understand that, right? We could agree both on that. So, thanks so much for watching, you guys. Stay tuned for more content. Like this video, share it to a significant other you think that it's going to really help them open their mind, especially if that person's is confused with their life, don't know what to do with their life. And that's why this video is for that purpose, So, of course, you guys, follow me on YouTube channel. I'll be making more videos, of course. And follow me on Instagrams and Twitters. I do a lot of posting, and they're really important, really enrich informations that will help you boost your mind and, make you become more productive at your work, at home, anything that you do in life. So thanks so much, y'all. I'll be seeing you on the other side for sure.